Okay, fine. So yeah, over to you, Ramprasad. Thank you. All the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, thank you, Raghava, Kiran. Good evening, and good morning, everyone. So today we are going to discuss a new topic, which is one of the important topic in the UiPath. I mean, not only in the UiPath environment. So across any kind of programming languages. So we are going to discuss related to, we are going to work with the exception handling, right? Uh, so one second. Yeah. Yeah, regarding myself, having around 10 plus years of experience in IT, currently working as a RPA technical lead in one of the reputed MNC in Hyderabad. So this is about me. So in the as a part of the today's content, like we are going to discuss uh, related to the exception handling concepts, which are related to the what type of what is the importance of the exception handling and its importance, and known and unknown exceptions, and exception handling in UiPath, and business exception, system exception, TriCatch, finally, and Rethrow, and debugging. So these are the things we are going to discuss. And apart from that, like these things we are going to implement with the one sample use case. So after implementing this one, we are going to discuss related to the global exception and handler. And after that, we are going to discuss related to the best practices related to the exception handling, right? So these are the things we are going to discuss. Okay, this is about our today's agenda. Okay, so before going to start our this content, so far just what we have discussed, and yesterday what we have discussed, like just we'll recap and we'll start our content today. So from the day one itself, we started working with the UiPath, rights, like completely from the starting from the scratch, like variables and the arguments, starting from that, like the string manipulations and web automation, desktop automation, and Excel automation. And apart from that, like we have worked with the different type of automation, like API automation, database automation. So these are the things we worked, right? So this except when it comes to the exception handling, this is not type of any different type of automation. It's not a different type of automation. So it's a part of, it's applicable to the every automation. So it's a completely, this automation, this concept is related to the everywhere. One second. Yeah. So this is related to the, it's applicable to the each and every automation, right? So the importance also we are going to discuss. Okay, before going to start the what is exception. So we know, like what we have so far we have discussed, like different automations we have discussed, right? So what, just assume like if everything is goes correctly, that's no problem. If something went wrong, like what will happen, right? So if something went wrong, what will happen? The program is not going to execute, right? So that is the reason. So I mean, even if you are writing if you are dealing with the n number of transactions also, n number of items also, so even if you get any kind of one single error also, your program is not going to execute, right? We have to keep it in this in mind. So then how we are going to deal these things with the in the deal these things with the in the programming environment. So everywhere it's quite similar, right? In terms of like Java or Python, or else .NET or any kind of programming languages. So we are going to deal with the exception handling. So without having exception handling, we are not going to build any kind of application, any kind of automation, right? So hope you know, we hope you got some glimpse about the what is exception handling. So today, so we will discuss what first. We'll start with the what is exception. Okay, so what is an exception? So exception means like when you're working with any kind of automation, I mean any kind of automation, whenever you're building any kind of programming also, application also. So at the time, so if something went wrong, like something went wrong means sometimes like whenever we are working with any kind of web automation, for example, so we may get some kind of unknown pop-ups. And sometimes like when we are working with the web automations, like we may get some, maybe the URL is not going to work, right? The URL means that maybe at the time that particular site is not down, maybe. So maybe the credentials also wrong. So these kind of things we are going to see very frequently, right? So apart from that, like when we are working with the, so these are the things where these are the things. So what is exception now? So here what exception means, it's a unwanted and unexpected event, right? Unwanted and unexpected event. So here, so if you are getting this kind of, for example, if you are not able to log into that portal, so whatever the task you want to perform, you can't able to do that one, right? So we have to handle this kind of situation, and in our, not only handle, like we have to make it ready for the next available record also, right? Whenever dealing with the multiple records, so multiple transaction items at the time, so we have to make it available for the next available record also, right? So it's a unwanted and unexpected event. So then what is exception handling? Okay, so whenever we get any kind of exception, so what we are going to do, so automatically whenever we get any kind of exception, automatically the program is going to stop, right? So here we are going to build a alternative solution to handle the situation. Okay, alternative solution to build the alternative solution to handle the that particular event. Okay, that particular exception. Okay, so we are going to build a alternative solution for the in order to handle that particular exception, right? So why it is important? Okay, why exception handling is important? So in the beginning only, just we have discussed what is the reason why it is important. Okay, so we have discussed related to the why it is important, because even if you get a single error also, the program is not going to continue, right? So that is the reasons we are going to implement the exception handling. So in order to implement the exception handling, we having the different kind of things like a try catch, and finally apart from that, we are going to use the different throws and rethrows and retry mechanisms, and lot of things are there. So we are going to discuss all these things today. Okay, so these things we have seen, right? So just we'll go to the UiPath. Just assume like in the beginning days, like we have learned like related to the Excel automation and the desktop automation and web automation, right? So we'll see one. I will take one example. So I'm going to take the one read range activity. Okay. So what exactly we are going to do with the read range activity? So we are going to read the data from the Excel, right? So for example, today, so whatever the path I've given for example, I'm taking an Excel file path here. Okay, so str file Excel file path, like input file path I'm taking. Okay, so I'm taking one path. So here I'm going to create a Excel file. I'm creating one Excel file on my desktop. So it is input data. Okay, so this is input data. Just assume like in this we are going to okay, we are going to take some data. So I'm going to take the name. I'm taking like Ram. Okay, just assume like we're having some data. Okay, so I want to read this data from this particular file. Okay, I want to read the data from that particular file. So I have the file and I have the sheet name also of sheet 1, and I want to read the data to the I want to read the data. So I'm removing the range here. The reason is it's going to read the data from the entire sheet. So in this example, I'm taking like input data. Okay, I'm creating one variable called dt input data. Okay, whenever you're going to create any kind of variable, give proper naming convention. Okay, dt is the data table input data. I and d I have given like in the capital letter. This is the naming convention. We are going to call it like a camel case. Okay, so this is we already know. So in the beginning days, like we have learned what is the best practices to create the variable and arguments. So I created one variable. So here, so I have the data and I have the sheet name and I have declared everything correctly. So in this, we are not going to see any kind of problem. Just when I executed that one, so it is going to read the data and we are not going to see any problem here. When I see it into the output panel, so you can see we don't have any issues, right? So what I will do, here, so I'm giving into the defaults here. So here I'm going to create the str input file path. Okay, so here instead of that one, what I will do here, like I'm going to take the, I'm going to create the some, I'm going to create the some, I will give, I'm giving the wrong file name. Okay, or else I'm going to create, I'm giving the wrong file name. So what will happen here? So when I execute this one, it is not going to run because we are going to get an error because the file is not exist, right? So you can see we having one, we got some exception. What is the exception? System dot argument exception, right? So the similarly, if I go with the another thing, for example, after that I'm going to take the, I'm making it correctly. So after that, so if I don't have the sheet one, okay, just I'm creating like sheet. Okay, I'm creating like sheet 4. I'm reading from the sheet 4. So here I don't have the sheet 4 in this. Okay, when I open this one, you can see I don't have the sheet 4 here, right? So I don't have the sheet 4 here. So what will happen now when I run this one? So again we are going to get an error, right? So again we are going to get an error. The sheet is does not exist. Okay, so what is the exception type here? System dot argument exception. All right. So the similarly, sometimes we may not have the data in the Excel file also. Okay, so sheet name and file path is correct, but the thing is we don't have the data in that. So what will happen then? So in the while reading the data from the one single Excel file, how many possible ways are there to get the exception? You can see null reference exception, right? So see, only just I want to read the data from the file. So while reading the data only, these many possible scenarios to get the error. So we may not find the, we may give the wrong file path, we may get the wrong file path, or else we don't have the sheet in that we don't have the sheet in that particular file, and maybe we don't have the data into the that particular file also, right? So these many these many things are we need to handle, right? If it is everything is good correctly, so there is no problem, right? But one thing we need to remember, whenever there is this kind of issues occur, how we are going to deal, that is very important. Okay, so this is related to the, just we have taken the one exception related to the I mean, while reading the data from the Excel file. So similarly, if I take the some other application, so during the when we are working with the UI automation, it's like desktop automation or web automation, so at the time what happened, like we are going to deal with the different kind of selectors, right? So different kind of selectors. For example, today I'm developing an application. So if it is like, if it is stable, then after that, after a few days, like if it is maybe if the UI got changes at the time, what will happen? The UI is not, if we're having any kind of changes in the UI, it is not going to work. Okay, so for example, what I will do, I'm going to take the one CRM application. So I'm trying to type something on the this particular application. Okay, so I'm going to disable this one. So here I'm going to take the type into activity. Okay, so I'm trying to type something into this particular activity. Okay, I'm trying to type something into this particular activity. Just I'm typing UiPath. Okay, I'm typing UiPath. So here in the properties, just I'm going to make it in the properties. I want to make it empty. So this is the field we are going to make it that empty, and after that we are going to type. So in this example, what will happen? So if we have the application is open and we are trying to type something onto that particular application, that is fine. It is not going to have, we are not going to have any problem, right? It is going to type perfectly without having any issue, right? So it is, sorry. Okay, so it is going to type, it is going to type this one. Okay, it is typing perfectly, but somehow, so if you are not launching that application, if this application is not available, what will happen? Right? If I don't have the application, what will happen? Again, we are going to get the exception, right? We are going to get the exception. So in order to handle this kind of situations, we are going to build a alternative solution, alternative flow to handle these kind of issues. Right? In this example, so what are the things we've seen? Like we have seen like a null reference exception, null reference exception, like argument exception. These are the things we have seen, right? Similarly, we are going to deal with the multiple exception. Okay, multiple exception. So you might have why we are taking this much of time. So here this application, this a particular application activity, it is going to wait for the 30 seconds of time. That is a default time, have a default timing mechanism we having here, timeout MS. So it will wait for the 30 seconds. Okay, why we are given why we are having this one? So sometime due to some latency issues, so every time when we are working into the some, for example, if I'm working with the web applications, so every time some pages are not loading into the expected time, right? Those kind of situations, so we are going to take some time. So the timeout how it is going to work, even if the element, I mean the page, if it is loaded, so immediately it will start execution. Otherwise, if the page is not loaded, so it will wait till the 30 seconds of time. Even after 30 seconds of time, so if you are not getting that application, it is going to throw an error, right? So when I place the cursor here, you can see the default value is 30,000 milliseconds. 1000 milliseconds equals to 1 second, right? So 30,000 milliseconds means it is a 30 seconds of time. So that is the default time. We are, even if you are not giving also, it is going to take the 30,000 milliseconds. So sometimes if I want to change that also, we can able to change it here. Okay, so these are the things related to the exception and what is exception, and I hope you got it, the what kind of exception we are going to see. So during the reading of one single file only, we have seen these many exceptions, right? So in this, we're having something related to the known exception and unknown exception. Okay, so we're having a known exception and unknown exception. Okay, so what is known exception and what is unknown exception? Okay, so we're having known exceptions and unknown exception. So known exception, for example, let's take one scenario. So we want to log into the some application. Okay, we want to log into some application. For example, let's take Amazon portal or else a Flipkart portal, right? So you want to log into that particular portal. So in order to log into that portal, so what are the things we require? We need the user ID and password, right? We need the user ID and password. So we know, like, if the user ID and password is wrong, if the user ID and password is wrong, so that kind of those kind of situations, what will happen? So obviously we are not going to log into we are not going to enter into that our account, right? So these kind of things we can predict. Okay, which we can predict. So these kind of things which I mean which we can predict, these exception we can we can be able to call with the known exception. And apart from that, previously occurred exceptions also. Okay, previously occurred exception means, for example, so sometimes we may when we are launching some application, okay, sometimes when we are launching the application, so if the maybe due to some XYZ reasons, so the application, if it is down, so those kind of situations, so we need to handle that situation. How we will come to know? These are the things we are going, these applications are going to work into the remote machines. So we need to check it, and we have to inform to the respective business people. Okay, so few things we can able to predict, but few things we are not in our control. So few things are not in our control. Those kind of situations, those kind of exceptions, we are going to call it like a unknown exception. Okay, so sometimes, like whenever we are connected, when we are working with some application, suddenly, just assume like suddenly we got some exception which is like related to sometimes like we got some pop-up unknown thing, right? So unexpected thing happen. So those kind of that is a unknown exception. Okay, which we can predict. Those things we can call it like a known exception. Those for which are not, I mean, which we cannot predict. So those things we can call it like a unknown exception. Okay, so few things known exception we can able to handle by using some kind of activities in the UiPath environment, and similarly unknown exceptions also we have to treat in a different way. Okay, so now we will discuss like we'll go with the one application, how we are going to we'll try to log into the one application. We'll understand very clearly how it is, what is unknown exception and say unknown exception. Okay, so in order to handle this situation, so we are going to use the TriCatch. Okay, TriCatch, and finally, okay, before going to this one TriCatch and finally, so we have seen some different kind of exceptions so far. What type of exception we have seen? So far, like null reference exception we have seen, right? null reference exception we have seen, and apart from the what we have seen, argument exception we have seen. Okay, argument exception we have seen. And whenever we are working with the web automation, sometimes if you have selectors also not going to work. So when we are working with the when I executed this one without having the application, so we got some exception, we error, because we don't have that error. So I mean that application, like selector related. Okay, selector related errors we are going to see very frequently. And when we are working with the web automation, so we have to install the extension, UiPath extension. Okay, you can see here. So you can see here UiPath extension, right? So if we are not installed that particular UiPath extension, so what we are going to get? So unable to communicate with the browser. This kind of exception we are going to see, right? So when we are working with the apart from that, when we are working with the UI automation, sometimes UI element not found. Okay, just I'm writing what are the exceptions we are going to see in the frequent UI element not found, very frequently in the UiPath environment, UI element not found. So this is the one type of exception we are going to see. And when we are working with the, for example, if I'm working with the database, okay, in the database environment, if I'm working with the, so like at the time, what if I'm giving like a wrong database name, or else wrong authorization, like user ID and password, if those are wrong, like at the time, what we are going to get? So authorization. Okay, authorization exception, I mean authorization related error we are going to get. And when we are going to work with the API automation, so day before yesterday, so one of our speaker explained the API automation, right? So when we are trying to access the when we are trying to work with the API automation, so in the authentication, so we may get some kind of 401 error. So what does this mean? What does it mean? So invalid credential. So invalid credentials, this kind of error we are going to see. When we are going, if I get the like, sometimes we may get error code like a 400, that means bad request. So these kind of things we are going to see very frequently. So based on that, we some extent we can able to handle this situation. Okay, so these are the things we are going to see, right? So but it's very, I mean, one thing we need to remember, like all these are exceptions, like so it's not so easy to handle all these exceptions, right? Every time, so it's not so easy to handle all the exceptions, right? So in the UiPath environment, so we are going to deal with the system exception, okay, and business exception. Okay, in the UiPath environment, we are going to deal with the system exception. What is system exception and what is business exception? Okay, so these are all things we are, whatever the things we are discussing here, so these are the things we are going to call it like a system exceptions. Okay, so due to some systems, we are going to call it like a system exceptions. So business exception in the sense, like maybe some issue with the data. Okay, due to some data related issues, we may having the business, I mean, for example, so if I take the phone number, for example, okay, without the STD code, what is the phone number should be? So it should be 10 digits, right? So the phone number should be 10 digits. So if I get the 9 digits, so that is not, I mean, it's a wrong phone number, right? So these kind of things which are related to the data missing and data inconsistency, these kind of things we are going to call it like a business exception. Okay, so in these kind of things we are going to work, we are going to deal, we are going to handle with the TriCatch activity. Okay, so we are going to handle these kind of exception with the try catches. Okay, so you need to understand what is try, what is catch, and what is finally. Okay, so in the same example, otherwise, so this is the one way we are taking. So directly we are dragging and dropping into the activity panel. Okay, this is the try catch activity. Okay, otherwise, so if I want to surround this one with the, first I will enable this one. So I'm going to enable this one. After that, just I'm right clicking on it. You can take it like surround by TriCatch. So this is also one way. Okay, so this is also one way of doing. So here, so what is try and what is catch and what is finally, you will learn now. Okay, so in the try, whatever the code, Okay, whatever the piece of code you there, which whatever the piece of code you are going to paste, so which is where there is a possibility to get some errors, so those kind of code we are going to keep it into the try block. Okay, so that particular code we are going to keep it into the try block. So if something went wrong here, okay, if something went wrong here, so we are going to enter into the catch block. Okay, so that in order to handle that situation, we are going to we are going to build the alternative flow. What are the next steps? If something went wrong, what should I do? Those things we are going to handle into the catch block. Okay, so irrespective of the try and catch, okay, when we are going to enter into the catch block, whenever there is an exception occur, like those kind of situations only, we are going to enter into the catch block. Otherwise, we are not going to enter. Okay, so and apart from that, like what we are having right now, finally. So irrespective of the try and catch block, so we are going to, it is going to execute. Okay, first we'll understand how this is, how this flow is executing. Then we'll implement the same try catch with the some use case. Okay, so sometimes we are going to throw the our manual exceptions also. So far we have discussed mostly related to the system exception only, right? So these business exceptions, how we are going to do, we are going to throw our manually. Okay, we are going to generate the manually. How we are going to generate manually, we'll see now with one example. Okay, so what will happen now here in the try-catch? So what I will do, so first I will take the how it is going to execute. Just I'm going to take the one message box. Okay, just I'm taking the one message box here. So in the message box, so I'm going to write the in try. Okay, in try. Okay, similarly, I'm going to make one, I'm going to add some catch block. So in the catch, when you see this one, so we are going to have the different type of exception. You can see argument exception, null reference exception, and IO exception. So these are the things we have seen when we are working with the one particular Excel file. When we are trying to read the data from the Excel, so due to some file path issue, sheet issue, and data issue, we have seen this kind of exception, right? Apart from that, so we're having a lot of exception. It's not so easy to handle all this exception every time. So in order to do this one, so as I said in the year, so in the UiPath environment, we are going to deal with the system exception and business exception. Okay, all these are exception we are going to consider into the system exception. Okay, so this is kind of super class to the all these exceptions. Okay, so all this exception will be under these particular, all these different kind of exception, argument exception, null reference, IO, invalid operation, all this comes under system exception only. Okay, so apart from that, what we are going to deal with the business rule exception as well. Okay, so business rule exception. So business rule exception, we are going to, when we are having the inconsistency in the data or due to some kind of situations, like based on that, we are going to throw exception. Okay, so these things, by validating some data, we are going to throw this exception. So here, so I'm going to take the one business exception. First, I'm going to take the one system exception. So after that, I'm going to take the system exception. Okay, so business exception and system exception. And inside this one, I'm going to place one more message box here. So here I'm going to make it like in catch. Okay, and after that, I'm going to place it one more like in finally. So just I want to show you like how if something went wrong, what is happening, we'll see. Okay, so in finally. Okay, now I'm going to run this one. Okay, so in the business exception also, I'm going to write one more in catch. Which section it is business, right? So similarly, we are going to update into the in catch in the system exception. Okay, so in the system exception, so I'm going to run this one. Okay, so before going to run this one, I'm going to take the one phone number. Okay, so I'm going to take the one phone number. Okay, I'm going to take the one phone number. Okay, I'm going to take the phone number. So here in the phone number, like I'm going to give the 10 digits. Okay, okay, so this is the correct phone number only. So what is the kind of validation we are going to do? So we are going to do one kind of validation. So I want to do like str phone number equals to phone number length. This is the phone number length, right? So phone number length should be, okay, phone number length should be greater equal, should be 10. Okay, so we are going, sorry. Okay, that length should be 10. So if it is a 10, that is a valid phone number. Okay, it is a valid phone number. So otherwise, what it is a invalid phone number, right? So it is a invalid. How we are going to skip this record? So manually, we are going to throw an exception. So this is, we are going to call it like a system, a business rule exception. Okay, so we are going to call it like a business rule exception. Okay, what it is? Invalid business rule exception. Oh, sorry, invalid phone number. Okay, invalid phone number, right? This is very simple. Like just what we are taking. So phone number we are taken, and after that we are taking the length we are validating if it is correct. So if it is 10, then we are going to log the one log message here. So you can see here, valid phone number. Okay, so here my intention is, so how the TriCatch is going to execute. So then we are going to enter into the our use small use case. Okay, so what exactly I'm doing here? So whatever the code having, I've entered thing, I've placed into the try block. And after that, so during the execution, like I'm checking whether whatever the phone number we're having, so whether the length is 10 or not, we are checking. If the length equals to 10, so we are logging that message like a valid phone number. If it is wrong, if it is apart from, if it is a 10 less than, 9 or 10, 11, so those kind of situation, what will happen? It is going to enter into the else part. In the else part, what we are doing, so we are throwing an exception called business rule exception, invalid phone number. Okay, so here, which section is going to execute? So ideally in the UiPath environment, so we are going to deal with the two type of exceptions mostly, because we don't need to subcategory. Like in the normal exception, when we have taken this one, so you can see we have different things, right? So we are not going to consider these things. All these things will comes under in the system exception only. Okay, in the business rule exception, so all related to the manually, we are only throwing that exception. Okay, we are throwing that exception. Okay, after this, what I will do, I'm going to place one more message box here. I'm going to place one more message box here. So here, after validation. Okay, just I placed one more message box after validation. So here my intention is to show how the TriCatch block is working. Okay, how the TriCatch block is working. Okay, now I'm going to debug this one. Okay, debug means like if I want to observe the step-by-step manner, like if I want to execute one by one activity. So meanwhile, I can able to see the lot of properties we are going to see during the debugging. Okay, so here I'm going to debug this one. Okay, so we are entering into the TriCatch. Okay, so once we enter into TriCatch, you can see we are in the try block. Okay, we in the try block. So after that, so we are taking the phone number. Okay, the phone number we have taken. After that, we are validating the phone number. So the phone number is valid, right? The phone number is valid. So then it is coming out of from that particular sequence. Okay, so after that, so we are entering into the after validation. Okay, just intentionally I placed this message box, so you will come to know when I give the wrong phone number there. Okay, now I'm clicking on the step into. So after validation is completed. So after that, whether it is going to execute any business rule exception and system exception in this scenario, no, it is not going to enter into the catch block because we didn't get any kind of error here. So that is the reason it is not going to enter into the business or system exception. Now I'm going to click on the step into. So you can see we enter into the finally block. Okay, so we entered into the finally block. So this is fine. So what you understood now, so whenever we having the proper way, like whenever we don't have any exception in the try block, so catch block, we are not going to enter into the catch block directly, we are entering into the finally, right? So for example, intentionally I'm giving some wrong number. Okay, just I given 9 digits only here. Okay, so what will happen? So right now you need to observe carefully. So what will happen in this scenario? So we are going to, how we are going to enter, we'll see. Okay, so we are in the try block now. Okay, then we have taken the length of, we are very validating the length of this particular one. So after that, so the length is 9. So that is the reason. So it is entering, we are entering into the else part. So in the else part, what are the keyword we have written, the descriptive message what we have written? So invalid phone number, right? So here, so we are throwing this one. Okay, after throwing this one, just observe whether we are going to execute this after validation message box or not. You can observe now. Okay, so we are not entering into the here. Okay, so we are entering into the catch block. Okay, so we are entering into the catch block now. Okay, after that, finally, right? So in this way, we are going to navigate the flow. So that means, so here, whenever we get an error, the after whatever the code, whatever the piece of code we having after this error, this is not going to execute, right? So in this situation, what I will do, so I want to display this one. Whatever the exception we have thrown, it is thrown. So I want to display that one. So how we are going to display? So we are going to write like exception dot message. Okay, exception dot message. We are going to, okay, exception dot message. The same thing we can able to see here. So okay, I'm going to run this one. Okay, so we are going to, if I run this one, you can see, so in the try block, after that, so in the business invalid phone number. Okay, in catch block, in the business exception block, so inside that one you can see invalid phone number. So after that, in finally section. So irrespective of the, I mean, even if we are getting any kind of exception or if we are not getting the exception, so every time that finally block is going to execute, right? So the finally block is going to execute. So the for example, in the previous situation, so in the same way, how can I handle that path related issue? Okay, so we are going to check whether the file is exist or not, then we are going to handle the situation. So I will explain that one as well. Okay, so this is the way we are going to, this is the way we are going to, this is the way we are going to throw manually any kind of exception by after validating that particular business data. Okay, so this is try catch and finally. Hope you got some idea about the try catch and finally. Okay, so now we will implement something same related to the one use case. Okay, small use case we will implement. So I'm going to take one UI bank application. So this is the one portal from the UiPath. So we'll implement this onto this particular one. Okay, we will build this one. How we are going to, first we will build the happy path. Okay, happy path in the sense like we are going to give the proper URL and proper username and proper password, and we are trying to log into this portal. So after that, what type of exception we are going to see, and how we are going to handle the situation will implement on this. Okay, now I'm going to take the one more workflow. I'm going to take the one sequence. So UI bank login. Okay, just assume like we are working with the one login portal. Okay, just we can assume like real-time application only. So this is the portal from the UiPath only. Okay, so what are the things we need? First we'll build the happy path. So first what are the things we required? First we need the URL. Okay, just I'm giving into the default section str UI bank URL. Okay, so this is the URL I'm going to give. Okay, here I'm going to provide the URL. So after that, I'm going to provide the user ID. Okay, I'm going to provide the user ID here. Okay, my user ID is okay, this is my user ID. And one more thing, so when you are working with any kind of credentials, we are not going to use directly. So we are going to use the orchestrator asset. Okay, orchestrator credential asset we are going to use. We are not going to hard code anything like this in a real-time environment. So for the understanding purpose, right now I'm writing my password also here. Okay, password also I'm going to place it here. Okay, my password is UiPath@321. This is my password. Okay, these are the things we require. Okay, so first we will build the happy path. So first thing, what are the things we need to take it? First we have to open the browser. So these are the things how to work with the web application automation. So our speaker already here explained very clearly, right? So here I'm providing the bank URL. So after that, just I want to make it maximize, even if it is a minimized even if I have the minimized manner, so then it is going to maximize the window, right? After that, we want to type this one. Okay, just I'm building the happy path. Okay, then we will how we are going to implement the exception handling on this, we'll see. So I'm going to type the username, right? So username, already I've given the username in the default section, so I'm typing that username. Okay, so right now I'm going to take the same type into activity. So listen carefully, we are not going to do directly like this. We are going to take the type secure text activity, which is the type variable type of this type secure text activity, type secure text. So we are not going to hard code any values like this in the real-time environment. So we are at the learning stage and we want to understand how it is working. That is the reason. So I hard coded all the values here. Okay, I mean password, particularly passwords also, we are not going to keep it like this. And moreover, for the inner to enter the password also, we are not going to use the type into activity. Okay, we are going to use the type secure text activity. Okay, right now for the understanding purpose, I'm using the normal type into activity only. Okay, so here I'm going to take the password. Okay, after that, what we have to do? So we have to click on this particular sign in button, right? I'm going to click on this one. Okay, so this is the happy path. Just we are opening the browser, and after that we are typing username and password, and after that we are clicking. Okay, just assume like everything is correct, and how it is going to work, we'll see now. For that, I'm going to close this one. Before going to that one, so we need to select the browser. Okay, so which browser we are going to work? We are going to work with the Chrome browser right now. Okay, I'm going to work with the Chrome browser, otherwise it is not going to work. So we're having the different properties here, so which are mandatory, which are very mandatory, I mean which are very essential. So those only I'm preparing, I'm going to use it right now, like that in this like user I mean this type, the particular string variable, and this particular string, and here the URL. So these things only I'm using right now. Okay, so I close the browser, and after that I'm going to launch this one. Okay, I'm running this one. So you can, sorry, again I just clicked somewhere. I'm closing this one. Again, I'm running this one. Okay, so it is going to launch the application. Then it is typing username, password, and clicking on the sign in. Right. So successfully we logged into this particular site. Okay, this is the bank UI bank portal. This is a site from UiPath only. So we successfully logged into this portal. Okay, so this is the happy path. So we don't have any problem. So everything is working fine as expected. So that is the reason we don't have any issues. Somehow, if I having, for example, if I give this some wrong URL here. Okay, so wrong URL, what will happen? Okay, just I remove the .com, just I remove the M, right? Here I remove, when I remove this M, so whether it is going to launch that particular portal or not. Okay, I'm closing this one. Again, I'm running this one, you can see. Okay, so that is a wrong URL. It is not going to open this one. So what will happen? So after opening this one, so it is this type into activity trying to enter some username into the portal, but which is not available right now. What type of exception we are going to get? So we are going to get that particular UI element is that selector is not available. That kind of exception we are going to get. Okay, so as a human being, by seeing this one, we can able to understand whether the site is loaded or not, I mean opened or not. But how the robot is going to understand? Okay, so as a human being, we can able to understand whether it is launched or not. So you can see, so could not find the UI element corresponding to the selector. Okay, that means this type into username, it is trying to type something, but the field, the enter username field is not available there. So that is the reasons we are getting this error, right? So how we are going to handle this kind of situation? Okay, this is the one scenario. Okay, I will take one more scenario. What else we can understood? So this is we can predict like this is we can predict like this. Sometimes a website may be not available. So this is we can predict like we can predict, right? So that means we can make it like a known exception. Okay, we can call it like a known exception, right? So here, so one more thing, what else we can expect? So maybe user ID also, maybe credentials expired. So in the organizations, what will happen every 3 months or every 1 month? So due to, I mean, as per the organization policy, so we need to reset the passwords everywhere, every time. somehow, so still we are using the older password. I'm again, I mean, the password got changed. Those kind of situations, what will happen? Again, this we are not going to launch that particular application. Okay, so I'm entering wrong password there. Just remove the one there. Okay, here you can see UiPath@32. Earlier it was UiPath@321, right? So what will happen now? So again, I'm going to run this one. Okay, again, I'm going to run this one. So what will happen? So we are able to log in, launch that application, and we are typing something, but when we're trying to log into that particular site, so we are not able to log in this one, right? So when we're having this kind of situation, how we are going to handle, right? So that is very important. So here, as I said in the beginning, like when we are open the UiPath portal, sorry, UiBank portal, so by seeing this one, we can able to understand if it is opened or not, right? So how the robot is going to check? So we're having some activities related to the element. Okay, so when I type the element here, okay, we're having the element exist activity. Okay, element exist activity, find element activity. We have different kind of activities are available in the UiPath environment. Okay, for this no need to install any kind of packages. So already these are available these are available inside the system activities only. Okay, so after launching this one, we want to verify something. What we want to verify, whether we open this particular site or not. So for that, I'm going to take the element exist activity. Okay, so I'm going to check, what exactly it is going to work. This element exist activity, just it is going to check, so whether the particular element is available or not. Okay, whenever we open this one, so every time something we are going to get, we are going to indicate something, we are going to take some static element. Okay, this is, you can see, every time we are going to, if we are into the login page, so every time we are going to get the username every time. Okay, just we are going to make it that element. I'm going to indicate that particular element. So after that, sorry. Okay, so just what exactly I'm trying to do. So if I get in the front page, like if I get in the particular website, if I get that username, so if I get that particular username element, so I'm going to consider that my page is open. Okay, so here I'm going to take the AA name. AA name means it's an active accessibility name. So this is static element. So if it is launched, I mean, if you're having, if you open UiBank portal, so obviously we are going to get the username. So this is some static element every time we are going to see. So that is the reason I have taken. So based on this one, so we are going to verify whether the site is opened or not. So what is the output it is going to give? So it is going to give Boolean. Okay, so just I'm creating one variable called username element. Okay, so if it is available, it is going to return true. If it is not available, it is going to return, what it is going to return? It is going to return false. So in this example, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the one if else condition. So BLN username element equals to true. True means, so if it is available, okay, if it is available, so I have to write some log message here. Okay, so these log messages are going to help when you are working with the big projects. I mean, every time we are going to write all the log messages everywhere, irrespective of the complexity of the project. So here also we are going to write some log messages. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, so here UiBank portal available. Okay, so if it is false means we are going to enter into this section, right? So what I have to do, so in this situation, what I am going to do, so I'm going to keep entering into the TriCatch class. We need to handle the TriCatch. We are going to implement the TriCatch on this particular workflow, right? So we are going to handle two things. One is system exception and one is business exception. Okay, so business exception, business rule exception, UiPath.co.business rule exception. Okay, so here, what kind of exception I have to throw? Whether I have to throw business rule exception or else system exception. Because so business rule exception means, hope you got some idea when we are discussing like previously, which is related to data related issues. If I am not able to log into this portal, I can't do anything, right? So that is the reasons I'm going to throw an exception manually, that is system exception. Okay, just like it's a hard stop, we can't proceed further. Okay, so new system dot exception. So this is, we are writing custom message. Okay, UiBank login portal not available. UiBank login portal not available, right? So in this way, we're going to throw an exception. So exactly where it is going to come once we throw this exception, where it's going to enter. So it is going to enter into this part. Okay, so here we are not handling right now. So I will explain what exactly we are going to do. Okay, right now we are going to log this one as a warning or else error. Okay, exception dot. So why I'm writing exception? So you can see exception variable here. So that is I'm taking here exception dot message. Whatever the exception message we are throwing from here in the throw activity, so that will enter in. We are going to see that in this section. Okay, so similarly, right now we don't have any business rule exception. So here, so we are not. So if even if we are not, even if you write the something also, we are not going to have any business rule exception here. So same thing again, even though we will write that one. Okay, exception dot message, right? So exception dot message we have written. So and after that, this is the one scenario. And one more thing, what we can see. So after login to this portal, right? After login to this portal, so also we need to verify whether you successfully logged into this portal or not. So earlier, what happened when we executed with the wrong password? So we are not able to landing into this portal, right? So those kind of situations, we have to validate one more thing. So what else we can see here? There's some static element. So you can see accounts, products, and help. Something these are the things very commonly we are going to get every time once we log into this portal. So here I'm going to indicate this particular element. Okay, so I'm going to indicate that particular element. Just we are cross-checking whether I'm able to successfully log in. Log into this portal or not. So here I'm going to indicate the account here, right? So here I'm going to take this the same way account A name. Okay, it's available as of right now. So by checking this one, I'm going to create one variable BLN. What it is? Accounts variable accounts element. Why I'm writing BLN here? It is going to return the Boolean variable type. That is the reason I'm going to, it's a best practice. I'm going to write like a BLN every time. Okay, if it is a Boolean, I'm going to write a BLN. If it is string, I'm writing as a str. So here, same thing. So accounts element. So here also, I'm going to write some log message here. Okay, I'm going to write some log message here. So here, what it is log message? So login successful. Okay, login successful. So otherwise, what else we are going to do? We are going to throw an exception. So similarly, we are going to throw an exception like related to business rule exception, system exception, new system exception, right? Okay, login fail. Okay, so or else you can mention like unable to log in UI bank portal. So we are throwing an exception called unable to log into the UI bank portal. Okay, so where it is going to enter? It is going to enter into this part. Okay, as of now, just we are checking and we are entering these things. Okay, so we are entering. Guys, my voice is audible.
It's clear.
Raghava, is it audible?
It's clear. It's clear.
Okay,
it's audible.
Yeah, so you can see we are opening the browser, and after that we are checking whether the particular web application is opened or not. After that, so after verifying, so we're logging one log message. After that, we are typing the user ID and password, and after that we are clicking. After clicking sign in. So what exactly we are doing? We are checking whether we successfully are logged into that portal or not. So this is fine. And after that, we are checking whether the successfully logged in. We are verifying. After verifying, if you are not able to log into that portal, we are throwing an exception. So don't mind here. Even if you are not writing as it equals to true, also it is going to take. Okay. So even if you write true or not, also that's not a problem. It is going to work. Okay. So this is the one thing. So we want to indicate. We want to inform this into the business people. Okay, today when the robot is trying to log into the portal, so it is not able to log in. So how the people are going to come to know, because these things are going to execute into some remote mission, right? So what I will to do in the real-time environment, we are going to send an email to the business people. Okay, so we'll implement that one also. So for that, I'm going to take the one SMTP activity. So yesterday, Pramod has explained the different kind of protocols, email protocols. So right now, I'm going to use my Gmail account as I'm going to use my Gmail account to send in this particular exception to the business people. Okay. So assume like we want to send that exception message. What are the exception message I want to send that exception message to the people, business people. Okay, to whom should I send? So I have created one email ID for that also. So that is, just assume like this is a support team or business team. Okay, RPA dot support. Okay, this is the one Gmail account only. Just I'm going to already I configured my Gmail account to work with the SMTP. So yesterday, Pramod has explained very clearly about the different type of emails. Okay, so error UI bank something. Part of the process name we are going to take it, like we are going to enter the subject UI bank portal error. Okay, so here we want to write something. The body we want to write. So how we are going to write? So the same way how we are going to write. So I'm going to take the body. So normally what we are going to do, hi team. Okay, I'm going to write some message like this. After that, we are going to take this some environment at new line. That means we want to enter some new lines, empty lines, right? So after that, we are going to, okay, I'm going to take the 2 lines empty, right? After that, so please find the below exception. Okay, so below exception. So I'm writing like this. After that, I want to make it 2 more empty lines. So after that, I'm going to make it like thanks. Okay, so these are the things I configured. Okay, I taken the, I'm sending an email to the rpa.support.team@gmail.com, and this is subject and this is the message. So before going to send that information, we need some properties we need some information here. So what it is? So we need the port number and server name. Okay, what is the port number? So yesterday also someone asked related to the SMTP. So we are going to send an email if you don't have the Outlook in the mission, right? We are going to use the SMTP activity when we don't have the Outlook in that particular mission. Moreover, in the real-time scenarios, mostly we are going to work with the SMTP only whenever we want to send mails or else MS Exchange. Right, what is the port number? So by for the Gmail, so we are going to have the port number like 465, and the server name, so we are going to use it like smtp.gmail.com. Okay, this is my server name. So where can I found this? Where can I get this server name? Okay, so just you can Google it wherever. Just if you Google it, so the first link itself, you are going to get it. Okay, server name and port number. Okay, so from which mail ID I want to send it? Okay, here I have the one more email ID. So that is RPA dot UiPath 09@gmail.com. Okay, so from this mail ID I want to send. I have to provide the password also. Okay, so I don't want to show my password. So that is the reason I'm going to use one activity called get password activity. So here I'm going to take the password inside this one. So here I'm going to take the password. Okay, so here I'm going to enter the password without having the double quotes. I'm writing my password here. The same password I'm going to store it into the here. Okay, so this is my password. So here I'm going to enter the password. Okay, where I want to enter, sorry, I'm entering my password. Okay, so what I did, so just I taken the whatever the exception message I want to add. So I forgot to add the exception message also. Just I've written the please find the below exception, but I didn't add the exception. How I'm going to add the exception? So here you can see in the body. Okay, what of the exception message we got it there? So exception dot message. So from where we are getting this information? From where we are getting this information? So this information we are getting from the here exception dot message. Whenever we throw an exception, the same thing will be reflected over here exception dot message, right? So sometimes people may ask us to provide the screenshot also. I don't want to, instead of relaying this like this, so sometimes people are going to ask the screenshot also. Like those kind of situation, what we are going to do, we are going to take the screenshot also. Okay, take screenshot activity. So what exactly it is going to do? So it is going to take the entire screenshot. Entire screen either screenshot. Okay, it is going to take the screenshot. Okay, so this screenshot. So what? Okay, so this is the variable. So what is the variable type? You can see image type. right? So directly we can't say, we can't pass it into the this particular email activity. So what I will do, so here I'm going to save that into the my local system. Okay, save image. So here I'm going to, before going to save that image, so I want to prepare a one path here. Okay, path for the image. Okay, image path. So here I'm going to take the one path for the screenshot. Okay, the screenshot path I'm going to take it. So how I'm going to take it, like I'm writing like a exception screenshot underscore. So I want to make it like a, I want to make it like a unique name for this particular image. So how I'm going to do, so I'm going to take the now.toString in the double quotes. I'm going to take it like mmdd and after that hhmms. Why I'm giving like this? Why I'm giving like this? So because even if I'm getting the new screenshots also, I want to make it like a unique file name. So that is the reason. So I'm going to take the exception.screenshot underscore now.toString. That means we are going to get some unique name for that particular file. So here I'm going to take the .png file. Okay, .png file. So the same thing, I'm going to save it in this particular path. So you might have a question. So here I want to provide anything related to the C colon, the users and all those things. So when I given like this, every time it is going to save it into the my project folder only. In the project folder only, this particular file is going to save. So here I'm going to provide the screenshot image here. Okay, screenshot image here. I'm going to provide the path here. Okay, the same path I want to send here. So here we're having the attachments here. So in the attachments, you can see, so here I'm going to provide the str screenshot path. Okay, the screenshot path I'm sending, right? So you can see if everything goes correctly, there is no problem at all. Okay, right now we have seen like just we will go with the happy path scenario. Now I'm going to run this one. Okay, I'm going to run this one. So what will happen? So when I run this one, so we don't have any exception because everything is working fine. So it is going to log successfully. It will log into the portal. You're not going to see any kind of issues. So login successful. So what I will do here, so I'm going to do one thing. So in the password, I'm going to enter wrong. Okay, just I given the wrong password. So what will happen? We'll see. Okay, now I'm going to run this one. So before going to that, I'm going to log out this one. I'm going to close this one. Then we'll run this one. Okay, so what will happen? It is going to enter the user ID and password when I try to click on the sign in button. So we are not going to enter into the sign in button. Then it is going to check for the, we have indicated something like accounts here. So it is checking for that particular element. So it will wait for the 30 seconds of time. Even after 30 seconds of time, we are not getting that one. So what it will do, it is going to enter into the catch block, right? We are throwing that exception, right? So at the time, what will happen? It is going to take the entire screenshot and it is going to send to the respective team. Okay, so we'll see that one. So it is going to take the 30 seconds of time. After that, we'll see how it we'll see our mail ID. Okay, so still it is waiting. So execution is completed. So you can see unable to log in UiPath portal, right? So this is the message where we are seeing this one. So here, this is the one we are seeing unable to log in UiPath portal, right? So in this, so we are sending some email to the one from here to this particular mail ID. So already logged into this portal. So here I'm going to, you can see, so the same message, whatever the exception message we have written, so we are getting like this. Okay, we forgot to add the new line here. That is the reason. The thanks also we are getting in the same line. Okay, whatever the exception message we are throwing there, so we can able to find it here. Unable to log into here, unable to log in UiPath portal. The exception screenshot also you can see here. So by seeing this one, so people will understand like what is the problem behind that. Okay, so the business people are going to get this like this kind of message. Business people are support team. They are going to receive this kind of emails. So once they did one, they will understand. So because of the credential issues, so we are getting this kind of issue. So that is the reason they are going to take the necessary action in the next run. Right. So after this, okay, this is related to the business exception. I mean, how we are going to do the system exception. Okay, similarly, so I'm going to take the one more thing. Okay, I'm going to take the one more sequence here. So that is related to the, some will understand the in case. Just assume like a, so we're having one bank. So people, I mean, different customers has provided the, password, just a KYC form. Okay, just this is it clear? Hope it's clear, like how we are handling the exception related to the, I mean, whenever we log in trail, like how we are going to communicate the information with the business team. So hope you got it clearly, right? So if you want to, I mean, after that, like we are going to take one more sample use case to understand the how we are going to validate the different kind of data and how we are going to throw an exception to the, I mean, business people. We are going to send the information to the business people. This thing we'll see. Okay, in this example, what I am using by validating whether I am logged into that portal or not, I'm using this element exist activity, and here manually I'm throwing an exception. Okay, manually it is some custom message where I'm throwing an exception. So why I'm doing this one? Otherwise, if directly we can enter into the, I mean, if I'm not using the element exist activity, so what will happen? So this particular type into, or else like this particular type into trying to enter into that particular one. So we are going to get some complete system generated exception. I mean, exception description, entire thing. So we don't want to make it like that way. So we are validating this as we are converting as a known exception, right? So after this, so hope you got it, like how we are going to send an email also. Right. So now I'm going to take one more example related to the bank KYC. So for that, I created some sample Google form. So this is one sample Google form. So you can see here. So this is like, assume like we got some business data from the bank, having the bank people also going to ask for the KYC, right? In the KYC, just assume like they're going to ask for the phone number, email ID, and PAN card number. Okay, so bank people having the they're asking customers had provided, and having the data into the one Excel file. So for that, I have created some sample data for that. So you can see the KYC data. Okay, so here, so this is my KYC data.
Ramprasad,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you. So we have like it's 8:17 p.m. now. So we have like, yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
you can continue and close soon. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, sure. So I will take it. Yeah. So just you can see this is some sample data. Just like assume like the bank has collected some information from the business, users, and they has to update the data into their banking portal. Just assume like this is the one bank portal, your bank KYC form. So they need to update the bank account number and name and phone number and email ID and PAN card number. So we know how the bank, just we know like how the email, how many email is looking and how the PAN card is working. I mean, PAN card we are going to have the 10 digits, right? The phone number also we are going to have the 10. I mean, the length should be 10. And email account we are going to have the, like how we are going to have the email, like at the rate, every email ID we are going to have the at the rate, right? So assume like the business people has mentioned account number should be 10 digits. Okay, account number should be 10 digits. Okay, just which are in the, I marked in the yellow color, just you can see it's some wrong data. Actually intentionally I given some wrong data. So here we're having some, instead of having the 10 digits, where we're having some lesser number, 8 or 9 here. So here also we are having some lesser data. Here also we are having some less data. Like, so every time, everywhere, like here we don't have the at the rate in this. So how can we validate the email ID, whether it is a email ID or not, by seeing the whether the email, that particular value having the at the rate or not, by seeing that one we can able to evaluate. And this is also length also. These three things we can able to evaluate with the length, and this is the one we can able to validate with the, so at the rate, right? So for this I'm going to take the UI KYC. Okay, so I will make it, I'm not going to enter some data into this one. So just I'm going to show the validations as per the, I mean, due to some time constraint. So here I'm going to already place this data into the my local folder, right? I'm going to read the data from here. Okay, I'm going to read the data from the Excel sheet. So here I'm going to map that one. So in the desktop, I'm going to have the RPA KYC data. So in the sheet one, I'm going to read the data. Okay, so here I'm going to provide the input, sorry, not output. What is the output of this one? DT KYC data. Okay, KYC data. This is my data. Okay. Okay, this is my KYC data input. So this is my data table, right? So this is my data table. So just I'm checking like whether I have the data or not. So just I'm going to check it whether after reading the data, just I'm cross verifying whether we have the data or not. Data table dot rows dot count. So it is going to give the how many rows are there in that particular table. So now I'm going to run this one. Just I'm checking that one. Okay, so you can see we're having the 12 rows in this. Okay, so after that, what I'm going to do, so here after that after checking, like we may get some we don't have, we may get blank data also. I mean, we are going, sometimes we may get like without having the data also. So for that I need to check the condition, like whether I have the data or not, right? So I'm going to check the condition. I'm verifying the data available or not. Okay, so rows dot count, it should be greater than 0. Okay, otherwise we are going to throw an exception. So here also I'm going to throw an exception. How I'm going to throw? So here also no data available. Okay, greater than 0 means so data is available. When the data is not available, we have to throw the exception. New exception. Okay, new system exception we are going to throw. Okay, new, okay, data not available, not found. Okay, so we are going to throw an exception like this. Everywhere, like once we read the data, once we do any kind of things, we are going to evaluate the we are going to check the all these information. So and after that we are going to read the entire data with the for each row. So you know how we are going to work with the for each row in the data table. So while working with the data table in Excel automation, so our speaker explained about the how it is working, right? So in this scenario, so we want to validate. So what are the things we want to validate? So we want to validate the bank account number, so which is there in the first column, right? We are having the bank column in the first column. Okay, so due to some time constraint, just I'm going to take the bank account only right now. Okay, after evaluating, after validating all the data, we are going to open this particular Google form and we are going to enter. Okay, so here I'm going to take the, sorry, so I'm going to take this one. So here I'm going to take the if condition. Okay, so here I'm going to take the one if condition. So if condition, I'm going to place it here. So current row of, okay, so first column, first column I'm going to read. So normally we can go with the indexes or else like in the column names also. Here I'm going to work with the account number. Okay, so account number I'm taking here. Okay, I'm going to take the account number. So here account number dot to string. Okay, so what it is going to do, it is going to return the particular the value. So I want to take the length of this one. Okay, I want to take the length. So length should be 10. Otherwise it is going, we have to throw the exception. So how we are going to throw exception, we already know through. Okay, so we have to throw the exception. So here I'm going to write an exception card, new business rule exception. Why we are writing business rule exception here? So it is related to the business data, right? Invalid account number. So we are going to throw an exception with the invalid account number, right? So similarly, we are going to do all the validations related to the rest of the values. Okay, name, phone number, email ID, and PAN number. So one thing you need to remember. So if I throw an exception, so during this time, what will happen? So during once we enter into this third row, right? So we are going to throw an exception. So from this fourth, fifth onwards, these are not going to execute. So those kind of situations, how we are going to overcome the situation? Like the entire thing, I'm going to keep it into the TriCatch. I'm going to keep it into the TriCatch block. So here I'm going to add the business rule exception. Similarly, I'm going to add the system exception. So in the business rule exception scenario, so we are working with the business rule exception right now. So I'm going to place one log message and inside that one. So I'm going to write the exception dot message. Okay, exception dot message. What exactly it is going to do? Whatever the issue is there. So we are going to see in this one. But ultimately, so ultimately we are not going to stop the execution of this flow. It is going to continue till what extent data is available. But if we are not handling with if we are not keeping in the try catch and all those things, what will happen? Whenever with the first error occurs, so from that it is going to stop, right? So that is the reason I'm placing this one. Okay, we're having Rethrow concept also. So I will explain, try to explain that one also. Okay, now I'm going to run this one. Just we are reading the data, just we are validating this particular account number only, whether it is a 10 digits or not, we're validating and we are running. Okay, see, you can see invalid account number. Okay, 2 times we got it. So if I want to see then which are valid account numbers, so I want to print that one also. Okay, I want to print that one also, valid account. Okay, valid account. So I want to print that one also. So which are invalid and which are which are valid, which are invalid. So I want to see in the logs. So that is the reason I'm writing here in the properties. I'm in the throw. I'm going to append that value. Okay, so here I'm appending that value. Okay, so the account number, whatever the account number is there, we are going to see in the log messages. Okay, now I'm going to run this one. So which are valid, which are invalid, also we can able to see in the logs. Okay, sorry, here I have taken the we have to take the info here. I'm going to run one more time. So because when I take the error, so we are going to get the all in the red color. You can see, so valid account, invalid account, we can see how we are going to differentiate here. So these are the two things are invalid. So one thing we need to remember before going to start typing, before going to updating the data into the application, target application. So instead of target application, it's better to validate the data in the beginning. Then we are going to enter into the which are valid data having. So those records only we are going to update. So rest of the details we can able to communicate with the business team by adding to the one table, and we are going to send the report to the business team. And coming to the Rethrow, so whenever we want to, so right now we are handling some exception here. In the previous example also, in the system exception scenario, we are handling exception here. We are throwing an exception details to the business people, right? Instead of handling here, if I want to, if I don't want to handle here, if I want to throw this exception to some higher level, so those kind of situation we are going to use the Rethrow. Okay, and coming to the one more thing we are having, so like a global exception handler. So in the global exception handler, so you can see here, so in the global exception handler, every time global exception handler, right? This is the one global exception handler. Like in the previous version, we don't have this one. So from the 2019 onwards, we are having this 2019 or 20. So we are having global exception handler workflow. So in the entire projects, like most of the time we are going to work with the TriCatches everywhere, right? So even if you don't, I mean, sometimes like even if you are not this any exception, if you are not handled with the TriCatch, those exception can be handled with the global exception handler. Okay, when you take the global exception handler, you can see, so by default workflow, we are going to get it. So no need to do anything. So if you want to do any kind of modification, so we're having this detailed description here, so we can do that one. Okay, this is some kind of some advanced level. You can focus right now. You can focus on the try catch and finally throw and rethrow. Okay, so in this way, we are going to work with the exception handling. Okay, so yeah, Raghava, that's it from my end. So I plan to explain this Google form also, which I showed right now, but due to some time constraints, so I'm not able to complete this one. So here, this is the one. So after validating all those things, I try to submit the form here. So somehow we don't have the much time. So that is the reason I'm not continuing this one. So that's it from my end. Raghava.
Yes, Ramprasad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can understand the time constraints. Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for your time. Really, it's a wonderful session, about the exception handling and how to use the try catch block mechanisms and what is a system exception and what are known exceptions and unknown exceptions. Yes, Ram, really, thank you. Thanks a lot. It's a really wonderful session. Okay, so guys, so I'm making everyone please switch on your cameras so that it's time to take a photo. Yeah. Uh, Ram, just please share your screen. Huh? Sorry, please stop your sharing the screen. Okay, thank you all. Okay, so Yeah, so guys, it's a wonderful session. I hope everyone understood about the exception handling. So what are the different types of exceptions, why we are getting the exceptions in the real time, and how to handle those exceptions, so it's very important, guys. Once you completed the happy path of your process, it's very, it's very important to handle exceptions also. Why? Because once you deployed the process into go live, if at all the process is in execution mode, you need to the bot itself, it should handle that exception then and there itself if it is a business exception. Otherwise it may lead cost to the business, affect to the business. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so um, and let's move to the quiz session. So the numbers are getting decreased. So guys, so Kiran, could you please share the ID? Have you shared the ID?
Yes, it was already
Yeah.
there in the chat
Yeah,
window.
chat. Guys, please find the ID in the chat, 90165765. It's the time to have the quiz now.
So I think I'll be also sharing the screen so that we can just start
Yes,
with the
yes.
Menti.
Yes, guys. So please log in into the www.menti.com, and the ID is 90165765, guys. So please enter and join the quiz, and let's have the quiz in the short time. And in the meanwhile, I'll repeat again. So whoever the winners, already previous winners, so please share all your addresses to the mentioned email ID in the chat, and whoever already winners are there. So if again getting the same winners, so we wish to consider the next winners. Okay, 3 to 4 or 2 to 3. Yeah. So I hope everybody logged into the menti.com. Guys, again, I'm repeating the ID 90165765. Okay. Thank you, and wishing you all the very best, guys. So please try to answer the queries clearly, and grab the jobs. Okay. The goodies which we are going to receive shortly.
Yep, we'll wait for next couple of minutes. We can see around like 160 people logged in. So
Yes,
we'll
yes.
just wait for a couple of minutes and we can just start off. Okay.
Yes, guys. Yes, Kiran. Yeah. So guys, again, I'm repeating. So please do subscribe to the YouTube channel, Niklesh Satyavarpu YouTube channel, to access all the recorded sessions. So we have already uploaded the first week of sessions, introduction and the infra setup part, and the introduction to variables one, and the database automation, and the Excel automation, and the UI automation and selectors. So these topics I have already uploaded the videos in the channel. So please do subscribe and access and share it to everyone. And another thing is, so please try to post whatever the suggestions, valuable suggestions, your feedbacks on the sessions which you have already completed, and how you are feeling, whether you are at least have you learned something which you don't know. At least right, what is your path, why we are using your path, what are the advantages of your path, and how many different types of automations are available in your path, so that we are able to, at least we are getting the knowledge, right? So please try to install the studio on our machines, and try to grab the knowledge and get the hands-on experience. Okay. Okay. So Kiran, is it fine, can we go for the Menti?
Yes, yes. I
Okay, guys,
think
again, I'm repeating. Please log into mnt.com. We have last 15 seconds to start the quiz. ID is 90165765. So please give your name and click on submit. 10 more seconds.
here we are starting.
Yeah. So guys, get ready for the first question. Which of following activities must be used to monitor for exceptions? Okay. Is it a try, finally, throw, and catch? We have 4 options on the screen. Which of the following activities must be used to monitor for exceptions? We have 5 seconds more. 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Let's see how many gave the correct answers. Yeah, try is the correct answer, guys. So, where we are going to monitor the exceptions means whatever the activities you have developed, we used to put it in the try block. There itself, bot can monitor the exceptions. If any exception caught, it will go to the catch block mechanism. Okay. Okay. Let's move to the next question, guys. Get ready, and yeah, let's wait for the second question on the screen, please.
1 minute.
Yeah. Okay, Kiran. No worries.
Yeah, we can see the second question on the
The
screen.
guys, second question on the screen. Which of the following is used for throwing an exception manually? Okay. So we have finally throw, try, and catch. So again, the answers are same, but the question is different. So please, guys, go through the question again and try to give the correct answer. Which of the following is used for throwing an exception manually, guys? Okay. So the answer is throw. Why? Because once the exception is handled by the bot, it should come out of the process, right? So for that, it should use some activity to throw, and it should come out of the process. That's why we need to give throw, and in the properties panel, we need to give where do we need to throw that exception, whether it is a system or it's a argument exception or null pointer, whatever. Okay. Yeah. So almost everyone gave correct answers. 139. Good. Okay. Let's move to the next question on the screen, please. So whoever gave the two answers, try to give the third answer also correct. Which part of the code gets executed whether an exception is caught or not? Guys, try, throw, catch finally again. Which part of the code gets executed whether an exception is caught or not? Okay, try, catch, throw one finally, guys. Okay, again, time's up. Okay, so we have completed the 4. Yeah, so some guys, you got confused by so giving catch and finally like most numbers. So finally is the last answer, guys. Why? Because whatever you put in the try block on catch block, that doesn't matter to the finally block. Whatever you put, it will execute. That's it. Okay. Okay, guys. So we have completed the 3 questions, and whoever gave the correct answers, let's see the answers board. And yeah, today winners are Adnan Khan and Sneha Kumari. Very, very hearty congratulations to both of you. I hope you and yeah, so you will soon receive the goodies from the sponsors. So please drop your addresses to the mentioned email in the chat. Again, I'm mentioning niklesh578@gmail.com, guys. Adnan Khan and Akanksha. Yeah, thank you so much for your time, and the rest of the guys, everyone. Thank you so much for attending in the quiz and giving your best, and wishing you all the best for the next coming sessions. Okay, guys. So let's have some Q&A session for some time. I'm giving the chat options as well to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we have Ramprasad,
Yeah.
Kiran, and me. So guys, if you anyone having questions, yeah. So 5 people already raised the hand.
Karthik.
Karthik, yeah. Please go ahead, Karthik. You can ask. Hello, Karthik. You are on mute. Please unmute and hit your question.
Hello.
Yes, Karthik.
Yes, Karthik.
Yeah. Actually, I am from .NET background.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have 1 year of experience.
Okay.
So how can I switch with this technology, UiPath technology?
So please do ask something that was related to the concept that was discussed. So all these questions will be answered in the final
day 17.
Day 17.
Yeah.
So you can join in that particular session.
Yeah. So thanks, Karthik, for your question. Ritika, yeah, you can ask your question. Ritika, please unmute and ask.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Hello,
Karthik.
everyone. Hi, Ram.
Hi, Ritika.
I really enjoyed the today's session. I genuinely did not realize how the time flew today. I wish
Great.
you would have celebrated, explained the KYC also, but it's fine.
Yeah.
See, my question is like you told, like we use the log message, right?
Yes.
So, like how it is important in any project, and what is the use of it actually?
Yeah, great. Really, it's a good question. Regarding log messages, whatever the logs we are writing there, so those logs will be, we are going to have one more component. So in the beginning day, like our speaker has mentioned about the different kind of UiPath products like Orchestrator and the UiPath Robot and UiPath Studio.
Yeah.
So whatever the code we developed today, so we are going to deploy into the some remote mission with the remote mission. So in that mission, robot is going to execute. So those things we are going to monitor, and we are going to see everything. We are going to like a control room, like everything we are going to monitor with the orchestrator. So what are the logs generated by the robot? So during the execution, like we are seeing the lot of logs in the output, right? Those logs will be saved into the one SQL Server database. Okay. So orchestrator is a web server. So okay, in the web server, we are going to see all the logs. Okay, the robot is connected with the UiPath orchestrator. UiPath orchestrator is the one of the under component. So all the logs will be stored into the UiPath orchestrator. So in the UiPath orchestrator means in the backend, we are going to have the SQL Server database. Okay, all logs will be just stored into that in that database. So then what is the need of these logs? So like by seeing this one during the executions, we are able to see how it is working, how it is typing, all those things we can able to see. But when it is working in the remote machine, we can't see all these things, right? So by seeing the logs, we can able to understand how the execution is going, where we are, like everything we are going to able to track. So right now, in this example, like sometimes we are in this example, in the KYC example, just I've taken the 10 to 12 records only. But normally, when it comes to the huge projects, like sometimes we are going to work with the millions of data. So it's not so easy to handle. Moreover, like every time we are going to get the different kind of exception, which record failed, and all those things will be tracked in the orchestrator. Okay, apart from the logging mechanism, so we are going to use one more thing like Kibana. Kibana also we are going to use, like it's a ELK stack. Again, this is a different topic again. So these logs will help for so today, for example, out of the for example, process the 10,000 records. So how many are successfully processed, how many are failed, and where it is failed. All these things we can able to track it in the logs. And moreover, in the orchestrator also, so we are going to have the orchestrator is going to explain by our colleague, our speaker Vajrang tomorrow. You can see how the orchestrator is going to work and how can we see these logs from the orchestrator. You can see at the time. So day after tomorrow, I believe.
Okay.
Is it
Thank
clear?
you so much. Yeah, very much. Thank you so much.
Any other
Thank you,
question?
Ritika, for your question.
Yeah.
Thank you, Raghav. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Sanket, yeah, you can have your question, please.
Hello, hi Ramprasad. Good evening.
Yeah,
I
good
have
evening,
one
Sanket.
question. Like as a RPA developer, how we should know like where to add try catches? Like is it
Okay.
good like if you add in every step?
See, so without having try catches, so for example, even if you get the one error also, without having the any kind, if you are not handling any exception handling, so even if you get one single error also, your bot is going to, if you're not going to continue the execution. So everywhere, okay, everywhere we are going to keep it with the try catches only, and whatever the exception we having, so we are going to handle the business exception or system exception. So as I mentioned in the beginning, we're going to have the different type of exceptions, right? It's not so easy to handle like null reference exception or else like argument exception, IO file input out IO exception. So we altogether we are going to take it into the one exception type only, that is system exception. So if you are not handling the situation, so your program is not going to continue till the end. So every time we are going to work with these try catches. So sometimes like mostly when we are working with the bigger projects, we are going to work with the robotic enterprise framework. So which is we are going to discuss tomorrow. So irrespective of the type of automation, whether it is API automation or database automation or mainframes or any kind of automation. So every time we are going to use the try catches. This is not related to any particular type of automation. It is applicable for everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, is it clear, Sanket? Sanket, is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clear for me. Thanks, Ram.
Thank you, Sanket.
Thank you, Sanket. So before taking the next question, guys, so please do RSVPs for the next session on Monday, which is the session on a RE framework, which is Robotic Enterprise Framework. Guys, we have completed 12 sessions as of now, so 2 weeks. So up to these 2 weeks is different, and the next days are the different completely. We are going into the real time, these all are the prerequisites to get into the real actual subject into the UiPath. So these many 12 days, we learned about the basics, but once you jump into the real time, what we need to do, how to develop the application. So if you want to learn all about these things, you need to get much knowledge on the RE framework. So so guys, please do RSVPs and try to share your comments and the feedback on LinkedIn, on all the social media platforms. I have already posted all the speakers, so please do tag organizers and speakers, and please give your comments on all the social media platforms, and please try to share these wonderful opportunity with your friends, relatives, and everyone, so that everyone can able to learn. If whoever is the freshers or whoever the people already working in the companies, if they want to switch the technology also, it will be very helpful. Why? Because it's very easy technology. No need of like that much of coding as well, right? It's a drag and drop tool. Okay, so next question. Thank you so much. So next question to Sarita. Hi Sarita, yeah, you can ask your question, please.
1 second, and we got some questions in the chat as well. So please wait, I will answer each and every question. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we are not going to ignore any question, so we will answer each and every question. Okay, please wait. We'll take one by one. Okay, yeah, Sarita, go ahead. Sarita, are you there?
Sarita, you're on mute. Okay, let's move to next whoever.
Shall I go
Mr.
with
Praveen.
the,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
Ram. Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we got some good positive feedbacks. I'm really happy. What is the max number of nested of try and catch blocks possible? So we can keep it like there's no restriction. Moreover, like we are keeping inside the nested try blocks, again, it is going to create a lot of complexity. So instead of that one, like you can use individual only. It's better. And how can I define a what is the API and what is the difference between the SMTP and other mailing system? Okay, how can I define what is API? Okay, yesterday, I mean, day before yesterday, one of our speaker has explained about the API. So coming to the difference between the SMTP and other mailing system. So SMTP is simple mail transfer protocol where we can able to send the mails from the this particular server to server. Okay, for this we are no need to install any kind of Outlook client application in our machine. So directly we are logging to with the email server. So we are directly in the mail server. We are connecting to the mail server. From there we are going to send. And one more thing you need to remember. So in the SMTP we can able to send mails only. There is no option to read the mails. So just we can able to send. So here, what are the details we are going to provide? We are going to provide two things. One is server name and port number. So right now we don't have the server name, official, any kind of organization related server, right? So I'm using my Gmail server, Gmail and Gmail as a SMTP server. For that I given the default like a Gmail SMTP port number like a 465 and the SMTP server name. So these things I given. And yeah, very informative session. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shivam. And how we use Rethrow. Okay, so Rethrow we can able to use in the catch section only. So whatever the exception we got it, so we are going to, whenever we got in any kind of, whenever the exception we got it, so if you are not able to handle that exception in the catch block, so we are going to pass that exception to the higher level. Okay, in that place we are going to handle the we are going to handle the exception. And one more thing you need to remember, we can able to use Rethrow only in the catch section, not everywhere. Okay, I'm repeating, Rethrow we are going to use into the catch section only. Okay, throw wherever we can, wherever we want, we can able to use the Rethrow. Sorry, throw, not Rethrow. Okay, and okay, and nice explain today class. Okay, could you please explain Rethrow? Okay, I will already covered. And yeah, thank you very much, Kodandapani. So what is retry in database in HCL? They asked this question. Okay, so see, database means, for example, I thought like you may be connecting to the database by using the connect activity. So during the connectivity, like you are going to provide the connection string. So in the connection string, we are going to provide the database name and server name and user ID and password. So somehow, like if you're not able to connect it to the database, so sometimes we are going to retry that one. Okay, retry means like we have in the retry mechanism, like retry activity. So when as per the need, like we are going to same action. If you are not able to connect to the particular server, or if you are not able to perform this particular action, so those kind of situation, if you want to perform one more time before throwing in exception, we are going to retry. Okay, yeah, any other question? Thanks, Ramprasad. Okay. Yeah, we got some very good feedback. Thank you very much, everyone. So yeah, go ahead with the hands, Raghava. We'll go one by one.
Yeah, so we'll take two more questions and yeah, we'll wind up. So
Okay.
yeah, so hi, Mr. Praveen Kumar Masala. You can ask your question, please. You are on mute, Praveen Kumar. Please unmute and ask your question, please. Okay, let's move to next one. Mahesh Kumar Totla. Hi, Mahesh. Please unmute and you can ask your question, please.
Yeah, hi.
Hi,
Hi,
Mahesh.
Pramod. Thanks
Yeah.
for the wonderful session. So this is regarding studio, not related for today's session. So in
Okay.
debug, we have a multiple options are there.
Yes.
So like, what is the difference between them? And one more question, like
Yeah.
we have a two option, run file and run. So what
Okay.
is the difference between run and run file? So could you please explain these two questions?
Yeah, sure. Raghava, can I share my screen? I'm not going to, I will give the
Sure.
I'm sharing my screen. Hope you can see. So
Yes.
in the run section, like in the debug file, debug and run. So we're having 4 different options, right? So when you take the run, so continuously it is going to start the execution from the main. So main is our starting point. Okay. Similarly, so when you debug like activity, like when you debug, so one by one activity it is going to execute. So meanwhile, so it is going to highlight the which activity is getting executed. Okay. So when we are debugging also during the times in during the debugging mode, like we are going to get the one new panel here, locals. So there we can able to see the what type of inside the variable, what type of values are also there. So we can able to see. And coming to the debug file. So for example, I don't want to run this entire thing. For example, okay, I don't want to run this entire from the main thing. Okay, main XAML file. So I want to execute only this particular one. So those kind of situation we are going to use the run file. And if I want to debug this only this particular file, those kind of situation we are going to use debug file. Okay, and in coming to the we having a different things, step into, step out, and different things also there. So for the debugging feature, these are, so any kind of programming language we are going to have these kind of options. So these are like quite similar to everywhere. Is it clear, Mahesh?
Yeah, thank you, Pramod.
Yeah, thank you. Next question, Praveen Kumar.
Yeah, hi Ram.
Yeah, hi Praveen.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Let us assume and data having numeric alphabets and special
Yes.
characters.
Okay.
Like how can we write the validation? Like how can we write
See,
the condition for it?
see how you are going to validate. So for example, if you're having the alphanumeric values. Okay. So for example, if I take the PAN card number, for example, okay, the first 5 digits will be new alphabets, right? So first 5, we are going to take the left side from the left to 5 characters, and we are going to check whether is it alphanumeric or is it number or not. So we are going to be having different kind of string functions to evaluate. So after that, like from the 6th to 9, we are going to have the numerical values, right? So we are going to take the numerical values also. So when we have the combination of the alphanumerical values, so we are going to have some pattern, right? So when I take the, for example, if I take the PAN card number same way, so first 5 digits and the last digit should be alphabet, and in between whatever the 4 digits are there, those should be numerical values. So by using the left and right and mid, this kind of function, we can able to validate the things. Okay, is it clear, Praveen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we use the contains?
Yes, contents also we can use, but we don't know, right, where it is available. So based on situation, we can able to validate the contents also.
Yeah, can we use contains for
Yes.
Gmail thing?
Yes, we are going to use the Gmail for the @ we are going to validate like Gmail, right? @ we are going to take the @, so we can use that one also. Contents also it will work.
Yeah, okay, got
Okay,
it.
based on the situation. Again, I'm repeating, I'm based on the situation. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Praveen. And next
Thanks.
question, Hima.
Hima, hi Hima. Yeah, you can ask your
Um,
question.
Yeah.
hello, Ram.
Yeah.
This is wonderful session to me, and I got solutions from this your session.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
From now, we know about known exceptions. How can we find out unknown exceptions?
See, unknown exceptions, like somehow like we can't able to predict. So yes, anything can happen, right, in the between during the execution, maybe because of the developer coding skills, or else maybe different kind of external factor. Sometimes like maybe if I'm working with the database, somebody, I mean, just keep mute yourself and you can listen. I mean, you can concentrate on the session. Okay. So for example, I mean, due to some external factor which we can't able to predict what is going to happen. So those things we are going to handle with the system exception every time, right? So for example, and there's currently someone asked like related to the database. So in the first attempt, if you are not able to connect, so again, we are going to try one more time. So after like we are going to try maximum 3 times, and 3 times after trying to with the 3 times also, if you're not able to connect, so we are going to throw an exception. So we are not going to continue the execution again, because it's a hard stuff. without connecting the database, we can't able to execute any kind of queries, or we cannot able to update any kind of data into the database as well, right? So that is the reasons we can't proceed further. So those kind of situations, we are going to stop the execution. Okay, so how we are going to stop, where we are going to do, where we are going to place these kind of critical things. So these things we can able to see in, we are going to see in the RE framework. Okay, thank you, Hima. Any other questions?
Is it mandatory to find out that catch part?
Yes, every time, because see, so happy path, if everything is good, then no problem, nothing will, no problem. So but every time we are not going to have this kind of positive situations, right? So anything can happen. So a lot of things, lot of external factors we are going involved here. Like sometimes we may get some kind of pop-ups and some kind of data related issues. All those things we are going to have, right? We have to take care all those things. Otherwise, our program is not going to execute. Okay, our process is not going to execute. So this is essential part. So this is not related to the any type of application or any type of automation. So this is related to the everywhere, irrespective of the automation type. We have to work with the TriCatch. Like in simple word, like when you are cooking any kind of curry, so without having the salt, you are not going to cook, right? So the same way this is also. So this is the essential part.
And one more thing,
Yeah.
for running, it's a known exception.
Yeah.
For example, RPA developers known, it's a known exception.
Yes.
But they are from different streams. How can we know there it's a known exception, and where we find out that error?
See, these are the normal things only, right? So if you are not able to log into that portal, so what type of issues we can enter, we can see. So we are not going to enter login failed, that kind of word we are seeing, right? So moreover, like these kind of few exceptions, business people are going to say, give to us. So the intentionally I've taken this some data which is related to the phone number and PAN card number. Everybody knows. Okay. For example, if I'm working with some kind of claims process automation. Okay, claim ID, for example, if it is a physician claim, for example, it should be 8 digits, for example. So the business people, they are going to mention the claim ID should be 8 digits, otherwise it's an invalid claim. So these things will be provided by business people. Those things we are going to code it into our UiPath environment. Okay, but system exception, like if you're not able to connect, for example, if you're trying to log into the application, if you're not able to log in, so this is a common thing. So this is not a this is the developer should know. I mean, if you're not able to log into that portal, we can't able to perform anything, right? So in that way, we are going to handle with the system exception, business exception. Thank you, Hima. And Srinath.
Yeah, hi. So how we will handle this pop-ups? Like suppose we get an pop-up, right?
Yeah.
We need to click yes or no. We don't know.
Yes. So we are going to have the different type of activities like related to elements, and somehow today we have discussed like element exist activity, right? So by using these things, we can able to handle. So this is one example related to element exist. So if I get in some kind of pop-up, so whether I get whether we have the pop-up or not, so we can able to check it, and we are going to handle that particular pop-up. So if I have the pop-up, it is going to return the true, then we are going to click on it. Otherwise,
no, but we don't know, right? At what point it gets.
Sorry.
I mean, we don't know, right? At what point it gets. Sometimes we are getting pop-ups at what, I mean.
Yeah, that is the reason, right? So element exists activity, what it is going to return, if we having that particular pop-up, so it is going to return the true. If you don't have that, if you don't have that particular pop-up, it is not going to return anything.
Yeah, that I got it. So suppose sometimes I'm getting the pop-up to step 1, and sometimes I'm getting it to step 5. That we don't know, right?
See, so those kind of situations, so it will enter into the normal system exception only. So we have to tackle all those things. Okay, so we should, while doing the multiple times of testings, you will come to know where it is available, in which scenario we are going to get. So all those things we have to handle.
Got it.
Okay, so because of during the execution, like we are going to see a lot of issues. Yeah, KVV Ramesh.
Yeah, so it's the last question, KVV Ramesh. Yes, Ramesh, you can ask your question.
Yeah, it's a wonderful session. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Ramesh.
My question is, if we design a project, for that there are number of errors. How to solve the errors by using exceptions? Where we find that exceptions like that?
Your question is not clear. So how we are going to
Like,
solve the errors?
there are number of exceptions, then where we have to find there are new exceptions are there.
Raghava, can you elaborate a little bit more? I'm not understanding exactly what he's saying.
He's asking about why we are used in different servers. How can we find out exception in different servers?
See,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
yeah, so different servers in the different missions you are meaning. You are working when you are working with the different missions. You mean to say?
Yeah.
See, whatever the code you are developed here. So every day, today we are running in this mission. So tomorrow, wherever in different mission also when we are running also. So no need to worry about that things. So the mission will be connected to the orchestrator. So even if you have the 20 robots in your environment also, all 20 robots are going to connect to the orchestrator. So it is the orchestrator is like a control room. Everything we are going to monitor. Okay, everything we are going to monitor from the orchestrator. So what is happening in the one machine, one server, so everything we can able to track it from the orchestrator itself. Okay, and once we get this kind of issues, business people are going to look into that, means like, because maybe in the first time itself, maybe they're not going to provide the all different kind of scenarios. So those kind of situations, what they will do. So in the coming, they are going to raise a change request, and in the change request, they are going to add the, once they raise the change request, at the time we are going to update the code again with the new scenarios. Okay, so Trivedi.
Yeah.
Hi,
So I have another.
Hi, Raghava.
What?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. What is
Yeah.
Yeah, Trivedi.
Hello.
Yes,
Hi,
Trivedi,
Raghava.
go ahead. Yeah.
Good explanation to the TriCatch and finally, and I'm asking about the terminal exception in this point of view. It is used to the project wise.
See,
Sorry, Trivedi, we haven't got your question. So Ram, it's already 9 p.m.
Terminate workflow. It is used to the project wise.
See, if like, for example, if you want to stop the entire execution, so we are going to use that one. So it's a different scenario again. So first of all, normally when terminate workflow, how we are going to use. So if you want to stop that particular execution, so at the time we are going to use the terminate workflow.
Yeah. So yeah, Ram,
Hi,
yeah,
Ram.
we can stop the questions here.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you so much for your questions. So as I have already posted the speakers tags, so please ask your queries and please
Yeah, you
comment
can
your
post me.
posts. And yeah, so Chandrika Birdar, I have saw her today. She has joined. So hi Chandrika. So thanks a lot for your time. Really, every day you are posting on the LinkedIn about your experiences and your going to tag all of us. Really, thanks a lot for your time, Chandrika. Okay, guys. So again, repeating. So Monday is very, very important session, which is UiPath RE framework, guys. So please do RSVPs and try to attend the sessions, and please share it with everyone who wants to learn the RE framework. Why? Because so we have already completed the basics. So that is going to in the real time how we are going to develop the workflows and everything. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So